Okay, hi everyone. Hey Lee.
Hey, Kyle.
I think I'll give it a couple minutes, see if anyone else is joining us here, and then if not, I'll just start going.
And hopefully it'll work.
Yeah. Doesn't look like the Q&A feature's working, so that sucks. And yeah, I am on Windows.
Oh, I see the Q&A feature.
Hey Lee.
Hey, Kyle.
I know. I think I'll give it a couple minutes, see if anyone else is joining us here.
Maybe you have to pay for what HuffPost uses, so that you get real.
And hopefully it'll work. Yeah. Doesn't look like the Q&A feature's working. Yeah, I see that. And yeah, I am on Windows.
Oh, I see the Q&A feature.
Hey, I know. I think I'll give it a couple minutes, see if anyone wants to join us here.
Maybe you have to pay for what HuffPost uses, so that you get real.
I was getting a lot of feedback from Lee, I think. So I just muted your microphone for now. So.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Hello. Who's this?
Oh, this is Andrew Wilkins here in Dallas.
Oh, hey, Andrew.
How's everyone doing today?
Good.
Awesome, awesome.
All right. So I think I'll just get started here. So basically, what I was planning on doing is going through the workflow that I use to get a pano up on Google Views, and then yeah, if we have any questions, I just want to check on if anyone has any questions, just leave them in the event page because it doesn't look like the Q&A feature is working. And yeah, we'll just go from there. And if anyone has any suggestions, these are all things that I've figured out on my own. So, and from obviously our Facebook group and everyone there. But yeah, if you have tips for me, please feel free to share. So I'm just going to go to screen share and go from there. Hopefully screen share works. All right, so hopefully you can all see my screen. So yeah, so I guess what I'll start with doing, once you have your panos shot, I'm not going to go into the photography. What I normally like to do is I usually start with infuse GUI, and I actually had a realtor hire me to do some panos for him this morning, so this works out good. I can use his the photos from that shoot. So yeah, so infuse GUI, just take the files. Normally, these files I've converted them to TIFF format, and you just drag them in just like that. And from here, I don't mess around with the settings too much. I usually just leave it as it is, but obviously you could tweak it yourself. And then hit infuse. And I don't know if these hangouts are getting a little slow, so I apologize for that. And you just drag this. See if. Sorry? I should have done this, done it before. So I'm just using, just going to use 2 panos here.
So you were using Infuse before you put it into PTGUI.
Yes. Yeah, I find it makes it. I like the final result better than if I'd use the built-in PR. I just kind of like the way it looks. And then well, these ones I shot in manual, but if you do automatic, I find one thing that's good to do is you can infuse them in here, and then if you take it into Lightroom, you can match the exposures, and it kind of makes it a little bit easier that way.
Yeah, I know the HDR in PTGUI isn't always awesome.
Yeah. There we go. So those will be infused, and so then I have nice 8 nice fisheye photos here. So then from there, I take them into PTGUI. And I'll upgrade later. So I use the Pro version. So you can do like batch stitching and some things like that, but even just the regular PTGUI edition is good enough for pretty much anything you would do. Cancel that. So yeah, so just do kind of one at a time. And PTGUI, it works pretty kind of seamless for me. For most of the time, like I showed you there, you just drag the images in, and most of so there you go. You have your panorama. You can change like point of view and a few other things in here, but we don't really need to do that. And yeah, the way it looks, I don't see any kind of major flaws. So just go to the Create Panorama. I always keep them in TIFF format when I do this, and then because I find if I go JPEG, it will lose the metadata for the photosphere. So if I keep them in TIFF, I've never really lost it. And then to add the location to the files on Google Views, you can just use this tool here. And it opens up, I'll show you here, it opens up Google Maps. And I'm just going to add kind of a random location here. If you click what's here, then it brings up the coordinates, and I just copy that. And paste them in there. So that'll add the geo data to the file. And then from there, I just hit Create Panorama. So I just see Sam has a question there about the photography. The reason I'm not covering any photography is because part of our process is covered under the non-disclosure agreement from Google. So because I want to keep this video public, I'm not going to go into any of that. But maybe we could have a private hangout someday and cover some of those things. And there, that panorama is done. So I'm going to do the next one. And then just take a look here. Everything looks fine. Go to the Create Panorama tab. Switch it to TIFF format. And then metadata. I already have the coordinates still pasted. So like that. And create panorama. And just a reminder for anyone who may have tuned in recently, just if you have any comments or anything, leave them in on the event page, and I'll be able to answer them there because the Q&A feature isn't working. So there we have all of our panoramas stitched. I'm not going to save. And you can see them in the folder here. So normally, from here, I'll take them into Photoshop. And just do a couple extra tweaks on them in there. I apologize for my slow computer. I'm using my laptop right now, and having the Hangout going and these programs isn't helping. I just see Jeff asked a question. Yes, PT GUI does have a batch mode. So yeah, you can do many panels at a time. I just went kind of one at a time to demonstrate how I do it. It's actually PT GUI Pro that has the batch mode. So you got to make sure you have the Pro edition. So from here, one thing I see a lot of people like the kind of like the bubble at the bottom of the pano. So there's one thing that I think it was one of Alexi's videos that he did, and it just makes it super easy. So to do that, all you have to do is copy this area. And then copy. I'm going to do it in the edit mode so you can see what I'm doing. Paste, so it makes a new layer. And then transform, which is Control-T. And you just drag this down to the bottom, all the way, and hit that check mark, and then you're going to have the cool little bubble effect at the bottom. And then layer, I usually just merge it down. And there we go. And then from here you can do any kind of editing you want. Sometimes I usually just will do sharpen, and the rest I'll do in Lightroom if I want to tweak specific things. And then here I'm going to save as, and save it as a JPEG so that I can upload it a little easier and quicker. I usually wait to see what the file size will be like, and maybe you can upload at full quality, but because of my connection, I'm going to make it probably at quality 10 just for the demonstration purpose. And there we go. Save that. And then I'm just going to, no, I'm not going to say that. And I'm just going to do it quickly to the next one. Oh, didn't want to do that. Actually, I'll show one other thing here. One other thing, if you kind of want like if you don't want the bubble and you just want like a blur, what I'll do here is kind of do similar to what I did before, but just make a really small selection and do exactly the same, and then just drag it down, and then your whole like bottom of the panel will just be a blur, kind of like almost on Street View. And I see John just asked a question about Lightroom Infuse and Infuse GUI. The Lightroom Infuse is pretty much, I'm pretty sure it's the exact same engine that does it. I just find that Lightroom Infuse is super slow for me, so that's why I use the separate software. I haven't tried other software, no, Jeff. Okay, so that is that. So then, I think recently Google has changed it where you can upload like to a business page or things like that at full quality. But before I still kind of like to do it through Picasa. That way I know that I'm uploading at full size. So we'll just let it quickly scan the folder here. So also notice that I'm logged into my business page. So you can set that up in your settings for in your Google Plus. You can set it up to use a business page instead of a personal page. You just got to create a username and password. So find our two panoramas here, so you can see that they are geo-tagged, and then share on Google Plus. Email them. Make sure it's original size for to keep your quality. And let's hope my internet's not super slow with this hangout, so they upload pretty quick. So while that's uploading, we can go into so that's loading up. I'm logged into my Google Views here. So I don't think I have uploaded much on this page yet. I do most through my personal profile. So let me just, I think you can switch between pages easier now than you used to be able to. Yeah, I'll probably do add account and switch from there. So those are completed. So now they're in my Google Picasso albums. So when I'm in Google Views here, I hope everyone can see my screen okay. And then basically just add images. Go into host tour. They have all the data already, everything we need. You just select. I'm not going to add titles right now. And published. So yeah, so that warning there. A lot of people seem to get confused with like publishing to Google Maps or not. Chances are, like these ones I just did, because they're interior, they won't get approved, but they're still going to be available on my views profile. You'll be able to use them in like a Street View API. You can pretty much do everything like that. You can embed it on a website. So it's not really a big deal if it doesn't get published to Google Maps. If it's a public location, it will, which is just a bonus. So I guess we gotta just kind of wait for it. Tell you what, I'll just show you in here. So this is one tour that I've built for business here. So you can see it's multiple things. So anytime if you want to edit, I think this is it. Maybe here. Oh, you can see all the panos here. So you see all the individual panoramas that I had uploaded. If you go to edit constellation, I like all the suggestions for the different HDR engines. Some cool stuff to look into. I usually find, once I find something that works for me, I just stick with it.
Kyle, I was just going to type up that in group chat there's a couple people who are asking some questions, so I'll do a little creative live for you here.
Sure.
Barone wants to know, are you batch processing from RAW to TIFF? If so, are you using Photoshop?
Yeah, for these ones I did from RAW to TIFF in Lightroom. So I just imported them from my memory card into Lightroom. A couple of them I had to adjust white balance and things, and then just exported them from there.
And then another question we've got, and I'm sorry if I get your name wrong, Jose Quiroz. Why did you do that in Views instead of GBV? I think he was asking about that particular tour, why you would do that last one for the client in Views instead of Business Views.
For this one?
Yeah, for that one that you just showed.
This one is not loading. I did this because I did publish on their. They have two sections to their business, and I couldn't do two tours, so I shot basically their showroom for Google Business Views, and then I did like a full tour connecting their manufacturing facility in Views. So that way, when they can embed this one on their website and have everything, but just because of the business view quality guidelines, I couldn't go through walls and storage areas to shoot their manufacturing facility.
Yeah, Views came along a little too late for some of the clients I had. I wish that I could have used some of that because I had to go through walls to get through ugly storage areas and rooms that were under remodeling.
Yeah, exactly. Like they had like a warehouse between their facility and their showroom, and they didn't want me to. They didn't want anyone to see their warehouse. So here you can see all of the panos loaded into the Google Views moderator. So yeah, like I was showing here, like this is their manufacturing facility. So you can see here they do a bunch of jerseys for the Edmonton Oilers and a few other sports teams. And then, so using Views, I'm able to just jump to their showroom instead of having to cover their facility. But yeah, so this is it. I mean, it's a pretty straightforward moderation tool. Connect the add and remove to connect the panoramas. I don't want to really adjust anything because I spent a lot of time in here, but I just kind of wanted to show you guys while that other one is loading. So just, you know, you can do your connections, delete links, everything like that. And then once you have it ready, you got published. So that's what's kind of cool with this, is you can make changes at any time. You can add in panoramas later, take some away if you don't want them. I'm just going to cancel because, yeah, I don't know why my other ones haven't shown up here yet.
Andrew Wilkins asks, you'll be able to go back, oh, I'm sorry, is it possible to use KML for adding location to photos? I think he means in views.
Yeah, well, Views has recently made it where you don't actually need to have location data in the image file. If it doesn't have location, when you get to the, when you go in the add screen to import, it will just ask you the location. And then you can just geotag them from there. As far as like using like a KML file, I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure like as long as there's geodata, it'll pick it up. I don't know if
Okay. Yeah, that's kind of what I was asking. I've experimented with before, but, you know, like Google has an app called My Tracks. So what I've done is, as I've gone through the shoots, and I have a couple like KML recordings of my shoots, but whenever I take a photo, I'll drop a pin there on the map. So I was wondering if there was a way to, you know, like get a pretty much get a process from that KML file and push it over to the EXIF data or the I forget what the other format's called, but yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's a way where you can sync like the KML data in Lightroom. You can sync it with your folders, and it'll just pick up the timestamps.
Yeah, I was going to say that I think there's a feature that does that in Lightroom that uses Google Maps. And then the other thing that I do a lot of times, and this works wonderful in PT GUI because you never have to worry about going back and adding it in case you start over from scratch with a PT GUI file, is I will geotag all of my panos once I get them sorted out in Lightroom before I put them into PT GUI because it will read the GPS data out of the EXIF.
Okay, well that's cool. I've also geotagged them right in Picasa. That you can add a location in there, and that's worked for me as well too. So there's quite a few different ways to add location data.
Yeah, another advantage to using it when you do it in Lightroom is that when you pull things back in, if you do it at least in PT GUI or Lightroom, then every time you export that to put it up on Picasa, you don't have to redo that geotagging part of the process again. So it saves a lot of effort, especially if you decide to use it in more than one Views tour or in another platform.
Yeah, that's a good point. So normally, every other time I've done this, they've shown up instantly. I don't know. It's been probably a few weeks since I've done any Views tours. I don't know if anyone has noticed it being slow lately. You'll try re-adding them, see what happens. Maybe they want a title.
Lacey I'm sorry, Lacey. She asks,
Oh, I know what my problem is. I'm using.
I'm sorry.
There we go. I was in the wrong menu. So if you want to, yeah. So once you have your images uploaded, to build a tour, it's just as easy as going select images. With this, it's going to require that the location data is located pretty close to each other to connect a tour. So you can't connect from one city to another city. They got to be geolocated really close to each other. So you just select the images you want and go connect images. And then here you are. So yeah, I like to always just keep it zoomed out at the farthest level. And then you just got to, since they're in the same location, basically line up your images. And just work at it until everything looks good. I'm sure you're all pretty familiar with this process. And yeah, some of the shortcut keys, F to spin it around quickly, and the arrow keys work as well. And it's as simple as that. Normally, I'd spend more time making sure everything is lined up properly and all my angles are correct, but for demo purposes, I'm not going to do that. And once you have everything ready to go, placed on the map where you want, all you got to do is publish. And there you'll have your tour. So you see it publishing here. And then I'll go back to this one for the example. So yeah, so once the tour is ready and live, it's as easy as hitting the share button to get the embed code to embed on a website. So it does not need to be published to Maps. As long as it's on your views, you can use it however you want, and you have pretty much freedom to photograph anything without some of the limitations that we're used to. So does anyone have any questions beyond that? I think that's pretty much everything.
Well, Lacey was asking if she was using photosphere.appspot.com before uploading to Google+. However, I was not using PTGUI for my stitching. Will I need to use this if I am stitching with PTGUI?
Okay, sorry, can you read that again?
Sorry. She wants to know if she's going to have to use photosphere.appspot.com, which I think is a geotagging service that uses the web.
Yeah.
She wants to know if she needs to use that if she's stitching with PTGUI.
If she has the latest version of PTGUI, I think anything version 10 and up, it automatically adds it for you, so you don't need to worry about it if you're using PTGUI. So that makes it really easy.
And Jose would like to know if you can do multi-level in views.
Not as far as I know. I know Lexi has messed with some of the elevation data and done some interesting things, but there isn't the elevator tool in views. It's all just kind of got to go up the stairs. But you don't need you can connect anything to different levels. But yeah, there's not that multi-location.
I know I had a house that I did a demo tour for, and it had an upstairs area that I had included in the tour, and there was no real good way except for just laying it on top of the other 3 panels that I shot on the ground floor. It was a real hassle, and so yeah, I hope that they work out something for views on that, but so far it's a little frustrating.
Yeah, normally what I'll do for multi-level is I'll like line up the kind of like the stairway, and then I won't layer it on top because it doesn't really matter exact like to be precise on the map. And then I'll just use that and kind of stretch it out. So you'll get kind of like that extra zoom effect. So you kind of shows you going upstairs, and then your panels are now on top, so it's easy to line them up. So yeah, so I guess that's it for that. I believe, are you still wanting to demonstrate one of that other program that you've been using?
Yeah, I started using software called Spin Attic. Actually, it's a website that is just recently gone up in the last few months. I don't know if there's a way. I'm trying to figure out how to take the screen.
There's in the top left, you can set up screen share and then just choose the window that you want to share.
Okay, so does everybody see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay, good. All right, so Spin Attic. It's spin and then like your attic in the top of your house. It uses KR Pano for those of you who are curious about the tech stuff underneath, and it's being put together by a company over in New York, somewhere in the Albany area. I've got a few tours that I've put up there. If you're not familiar with KR Pano, there's a lot of features that it has that do not automatically show up in Google Views without a lot of coding. Unfortunately, it also has some. It does not have a few features that Google Views does have. I'll actually take one of the. I'm sorry. This is actually where you edit the tours. I'm not going to get into a whole lot of detail here because a lot of it's pretty self-explanatory. If you have stitched panos, then all you do is go right here where it says Create New Tour, and you do drag and drop, or you can click and select from various places on your hard drive through the window.
I think sure stopped, Lee. I'm seeing your face.
Uh-oh. Well, that's no good. Hopefully I can figure this out. Do screen share. You know what, I'll try to break it into a separate window here. Alright, let's try that again. Alright, here we go. Okay, so, did everybody see it now?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So if you go to Spin Attic, you're going to get to ask to register if you want to post any tours or anything. And then once you do, you'll be able to go into production right here and create a new tour. Everything that you saw that you were able to do to create virtual tours with PT GUI, Auto Panel, whatever your even Photoshop, if you want to put things together and create your equirectangular panos, like Kyle was doing just a minute ago in PT GUI, then you just go in and you add files through drag and drop, or just by adding them from your hard drive. It's a brand new tool. The website's pretty new, so it's not like you can instantly add 15 panos. It's sometimes kind of cumbersome because you have to do 3 at a time for right now. But for smaller tours, that's not a big deal. One of the advantages of KR Pano, I'll show you one of the tours that I have already set up. This is actually one of the hotels that I just reprocessed. I did a Google Business View tour. I thankfully shot it raw, which made it really easy to go through and reprocess the panoramas. As you can see, when you first start it up, it automatically will start spinning, which is kind of cool. The other thing, too, is you can actually scroll through at the bottom and see the different panos. If I go to full screen, you can see it a little better. And another thing that's easy to do is once you have your panos uploaded, you can add hotspots with pretty much you create a hotspot button, and it's WYSIWYG, and I'll actually skip ahead to one of the panels here where I had an issue with being able to go multi-floor. This is the lobby of this hotel, and if I were in views, I would have some real issues making this easy to navigate unless I wanted to break with geography. Well, with this particular service right now, geography is not a big deal. So I can actually go and skip up to, this is I think on the 3rd floor, to the guest suite hallway. You can actually see this tour. This is the Alcazar in Cleveland Heights, Ohio. It's actually a Google Business View tour right now. I shot before the hotel program. And it's pretty easy to make it easy to navigate, but you can add hotspots to do more than just navigate. You can add info pages, you can add web links, all sorts of stuff. And in a lot of ways, I think the photography even comes out a little bit better than what you see on a lot of the Google products when you're done with the finished product. Especially since you have to pre-stitch it, that automatically gives you more control over some of the quality. But the bigger thing is just that you're able to add the hotspots without having to do anything fancy or special. I've been in contact with the group of people who are putting this together, and they're real good people. They seem like they're interested in making this service be something that can be really helpful at creating tours. And one of the things that another thing that's really useful about it too is you can still embed in a website, just like with Google. So there's a lot of features here that you can take advantage of. I highly suggest getting your hands on just going in there. It's free to sign up and get an account so you can check it all out and see what you think.
That's cool. Are there any like fees for publishing it or anything like that?
Not right now. It sounds to me like they're going to keep it mostly free, and it's all free right now. Like right now they're in a beta. They'll be starting a beta for their pro version in the next couple months, hopefully, from what I've been told. Obviously I can't say anything official, but I do know that they have plans of adding a lot more functionality with the hotspots and things of that nature, so that we can do even more with the tours.
Cool. Yeah, that looks awesome. I'm gonna have to check it out. Can anyone sign up right now, or is it closed?
No, it's not closed. Just go ahead and sign right up. It's as simple as going to spinattic.com. That's spinattic.com, and when you go there, it'll ask you to register or explore. You just go into register, set up your profile, and you can create virtual tours pretty much right out of it.
Cool. Yeah, awesome. Thanks, Lee. So I'm just going to quickly scan through, see if there's any other questions, and then I guess we can probably sign off. So I see one from Edwin Devi. Hope I got your last name right. Thanks for the demo, Kyle. What I would like to know is how you sell it to clients without the tours being searchable. I know the example here is a different case because they had both, and good reason to keep them separate. I mean, that's all up to the client and what you're doing. Myself, I normally try and stick to the Google Business Views as much as possible, and just kind of reserve the views for these interesting cases, like something that doesn't qualify for Business View, or maybe I don't want to capture 20 panels when I can use 5, something like that. So yeah, I mean, it's all up to really the unique project on how you want to use it and want to sell it. One thing I think does help is if you add it, if you upload it to the business page, like for example for that business, then that business will have a Google Views page. So when that profile, certainly show up in search results. So potentially an SEO thing. I don't know. I'm not going to make any claims, but that is that. All right. So unless anyone has any other questions, I'm going to sign off. So thank you very much for everyone attending, and yeah, I'm going to keep this up on my YouTube channel. I might editing, cut it up into like 3 or 4 videos for each step, just so we can do that. And then from now on, whenever someone asks on our Facebook group how to make a views tour, we can just share this video, and hopefully it will help everybody. So thank you, everyone. See you later.
Thanks, Kyle.